Hello, everybody. Thanks for stopping by yet again. It's me, D-Man the Voice, reading Am I the Asshole yet again. Whether this is your first episode or your 20th or whatever, I'm happy you're here. Follow me on all the social things. I'm on everything. Just search me up. Check out my voice acting stuff. I'm in a lot of things, a lot of indie stuff. A lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. Some animes. I'm in some animes. Check out the what's it called? Annie Shorts app. I'm on a lot of anime on that thing. With all that being said, let's get into it, huh? Let's I'm a little tired, if I'm being honest with you. So, if I'm more low energy this time, I'll try to pump it up. Maybe it'll make me funny and delirious. Who knows? Let's see. Alrighty, Focaroonies. You can tell I'm white. Can you tell? I think you can tell. Am I the asshole for telling my friend everything everyone has been afraid to tell her? Well, I'm the friend who does that. I'm the friend who was very honest with my friends about things. Like, not like in an asshole way. I don't go out of my way to hurt their feelings or anything like that. But I'm the person they come to when they want to hear the truth about the situation. Whatever that truth is, whether they're doing something wrong or they're being wronged, I will be honest with them about the situation and their part in it. And so, they don't always like it, but they do keep coming back to me when they need to hear what they need to hear. So, I do not think so. Just from this, a lot of times people get so caught up in keeping the peace that they honestly let their friends and family get into bad situations because they're afraid of hurting their feelings. And while you might hurt their feelings, it will be better for them in the long run if it is genuinely a situation they should not be getting themselves into. And you're seeing something they're not saying. And mind you, they don't have to listen to you. Like you can say whatever you want, and at the end of the day, they're adults. They can do whatever they want, right? So, well, maybe they're not adults, but they're your friends. They're their own people. They can do whatever they want, right? So, all you can do is voice your opinion, voice your stuff, and if they listen, great. If not, there's not much you can do about that. But, yeah, I think the better course of action is always to be honest with your friends about things as opposed to just placating them to protect their feelings, because that's not going to help anybody in the long run. Especially if your friend is the person who's in the wrong, then if you make them think there's nothing wrong with their behavior, they're going to keep doing it and keep running into the same problems over and over again, and then be crying, wondering why they can't find anybody good or anything like that. If it's a relationship thing, it's usually a relationship thing. But they're going to be sitting there crying, wonder why nobody loves them, bro. It's because you keep doing the same shit over and over again and refusing to change is why, bro. Right? So, let's get into the story here. I, 17 female, have a friend who got a new boyfriend a few months ago. Well, I can already tell that from the beginning of this. It's a 17-year-old, so it's a group of 17-year-olds. Our friend group, 5 girls, was really happy for her at first because he's nice. Right, so friend group, 5 girls. They're all going to be probably around 17, 16, 18, whatever in that range, right? So I can already tell this is going to be some non-issue shit, but I'm going to have fun with it, so let's go. But it's gotten to the point where they can't be apart for more than 5 minutes. Oh, young love, quote unquote. It's more like obsession, infatuation. It's not real. It never is. He lives in a different city, yet somehow he's always here. Isn't that about a bitch? We were at school, they FaceTime constantly. When we're at school, they FaceTime constantly. The moment school ends, he's already waiting at her house. Whenever our friend group hangs out, he's there too. It's gotten really annoying. That's some codependent stage 5 clinger shit, man. That, like I said, they're teenagers, so it's completely to be expected. They don't know what a proper, healthy relationship and boundaries and stuff looks like because they're children. So, I don't care. 17. As long as you're a teen, you're a child. To me, anyway. But I'm 30, so. But the point is, they haven't been in a real, mentally, emotionally mature relationship yet, like I said, with boundaries and stuff like that. So, them being glommed onto each other all the time is very on brand for a young teenage relationship. So, we literally can't be around her without him being there or at least being mentioned. And when he is there, she won't even look at us. It's like we're invisible. It feels like she's not our friend anymore. Yeah, I get that. I had a friend like that when I was younger. I was in my 20s though. We were both in our 20s, and so it was a little bit weirder. Like every time this girl got a relationship, it's like everything else ceased to exist, right? All of her friends ceased to exist. Everything was about this person 24/7 all the time until it inevitably ended, because it always did, because the stage 5 clinger bullshit would eventually wear on them and they would leave. So, and tried to talk to her about it. Me and another friend did. Tried to give her some advice, after having it had gone on for years at this point, and all the same things keep happening over and over again. We tried to have some honest conversation with her. She told us to fuck off. It kind of ended the friendship to an extent. Me and her still talk, but her and the other friend don't, and it was kind of a contentious situation. So, but my point is, I do get having a friend who just becomes completely enamored with the person they're with and completely forgets everything else and everyone else. And there's something to be said for, being in love with your partner and you should give them more attention than you give anyone else, but do not completely forget every other person in your entire life just because this person exists. It's like there is a balance there that you try and meet. Because, like, friendships and other relationships are still important even though you're in a relationship. You know what I mean? Last night, our group planned one of our usual late-night hangouts. We like to meet around 10 p.m. and walk around all night just talking. Fair enough. Nice, cheap little thing. I mean, we should all do that, right? That shouldn't just be a teenager thing. That's a nice, free, low-budget, like, just cool hangout thing. Just get some people together and just hang out and talk. If you're an adult, maybe drink a little bit if you got some beers at the house, you know what I'm saying? But 3 hours in, it was obvious that she and her boyfriend were just walking ahead of us, talking to each other and ignoring the rest of the group. That sounds annoying. Everyone else kept whispering about how annoyed they were and how mad the situation was making them. I wasn't enjoying myself at all. This sounds like a whole bunch of like teenage young person drama to me, as an old man. I'm not saying it's not valid and like it doesn't feel like it's like I've been in the situation when I was younger. We've all been there. Situations, and it feels really serious at the time. But as it stands, right, like they're all young, they're all kids. So this isn't. Your feelings are valid, but this isn't a real issue. To be honest, I asked the girls if they wanted to just leave them because honestly, I didn't think they'd even notice. One girl said yes, but the other two didn't want to abandon her. I think she's fine. So I left with the one who agreed. We said goodbye, and then only then, quote unquote, only then did my friend finally notice us for the first time that night. She asked where we were going. I was so annoyed that I just told her that we'll talk about it later and left. Ooh, the ominous "we'll talk about it later." Classic. The classic, we'll talk about it. I remember that shit always used to give me anxiety. The "we'll talk about it later" or the "we need to talk" text or anything like that. That shit always give me such bad anxiety. Like anymore, like if the only person that could give me anxiety if I got text like that would be my girlfriend. Like if she gave me a "we need to talk" text, I'd be like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm like, what did I do? What happened? Right? So, but like anybody else, they'd be like, "We need to talk." I'm like, what are we, 16? What do you want to talk? What do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm too old for that shit now. But, like, I remember back in the day, it was, the tightness in the chest and the, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So, I get, although this girl's probably too enamored with her dude to even notice. Anyway, we went to eat ramen. Nice. Love ramen. And continued to walk. And honestly, that night was more fun than anything we've done together with her in the past month. Hey, if she don't want to hang, she can go be with her boyfriend. Then when he inevitably breaks her heart, because of course he will, because they're 17 and nothing that starts when you're 17 ever lasts for the rest of your life. It's true. It doesn't. They're going to break up at some point. Of course they are. She'll come crawling back and, can accept if you want to have her back or not, Until the next time she inevitably gets a boyfriend and gets more, enamored with him than anything else. Again, maybe she might be the type. We'll see. The next day, she showed up at my house unannounced. Unannounced? Bitch, you show up at my, I don't care what the, you show up, I've been this way my whole life. You show up at my house unannounced, somebody better be dead or dying. Like, something better be on fire. You better be on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like you show up at my house unannounced, it better be because some crazy shit went down, right? Like, if you show up at my house unannounced, it better be because your car broke down in front of my house, right? If you show up at my house unannounced, it better be because somebody is actively chasing you with a knife. You know, trying to gun you down. If you show up at my house unannounced, it better be a life or death serious emergency, or it's about to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that is to say, like, if you show up at my house unannounced and just on some, I just thought I'd stop by, some fuck shit like that, we are now gonna fight, right? I'm gonna hit you in the face as hard as I fucking can, because what do you mean you're showing my house? I hate that. I hate when people show up at my shit unannounced. I hate when people show up at my house unannounced. I hate when people call me on the phone. I hate it, right? I mean, that's more tolerable than the show in my house unannounced. If you call me, I'm gonna answer the phone with what? Because everybody in my life knows not to fucking call me. Even my mother doesn't call me. My girl doesn't call me. I got one friend who insists on calling me, and every time he calls me, I answer the phone, what? And he goes, what? I was like, oh, hey, bro. I was like, I told you not to fucking call me, Calvin. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he's my best friend. I love him. He's my brother. But he's the only motherfucker who hasn't gotten the message on don't fucking call me, bitch, right? So, but anyway, you show up at my house unannounced, I don't care who you are. Show up at my house unannounced, so it better be a goddamn emergency, right now, emergent situation, or I swear to God, okay? I swear to God we're gonna have a serious problem. Anyway, that was a tangent on my own shit. Okay, she showed up at my house unannounced, and of course, her boyfriend was with her. Not only did you show up at the place unannounced, but you're showing up with your fucking boyfriend. So not only did you show up at my house unannounced as my friend, which is bad enough, but you showed up at my house unannounced as my friend and you brought a guest? Oh my God. No, I'm piecing up both of you at that point. Both of you put your motherfucking hands up. We gotta fight now. Like, no, I'm going to get the strap, honestly. I'm like, y'all stay right here. Y'all stay on the porch. I'm gonna go get something real quick. I'm gonna come back, and I swear, and then we'll talk about it. We're gonna air this out. If you know, you know. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I grew up, I'm white, but I have some flavor, as we'll say. We'll leave it at that. We'll just I grew up in certain environments and things, you know. I don't say the N-word because I'm white. If you're a white person who says the N-word, weird, you know. Like even if you got friends who give you the pass, right? Don't say it. But you can still have a little flavor. Right? Still have a little bit of flavor. And I do have some of that. So sometimes it slips out and I start talking in a certain way. I'm not sorry. It's how I am. Anyway, God, let's get back to the story. She showed up at my house unannounced, and of course her boyfriend was with her. Insane. She demanded to know why we left. You're gonna show up at my house every time. The sentence keeps getting me madder and madder. You're not only gonna show up at my house unannounced, you're gonna show up at my house unannounced with a guest, and they're gonna show up at my house unannounced with a guest and start demanding things of me? Oh my God. Violence. Okay, she wanted to know why we left. So I told her, not just about last night, but everything everyone has been too scared to say. Ooh. I told her that she and her boyfriend are obsessed with each other, that ever since they got together, she doesn't care about us, that she treats us like we're only there for her convenience, like punching bags when she's mad. That strikes a chord. Personal chord with me. That she acts entitled and thinks that it's just because she has had a rough past. That she acts entitled and thinks that just because she had a rough past, she deserves everything. That she's rude, possessive, and she thinks that we owe her something just because she was the one who brought all of us together. Damn! Yo, if she's so bad, why are you friends with her? To be honest, like if she is rude and possessive and uses y'all as punching bags and all this stuff, all this, that, and the other, why are y'all friends with her to begin with? Because I said she brought you together, I guess, but like you're together now, so like why are y'all still friends with her if she's so awful? That's what I want to know. God damn! Like if somebody is shitty to you, don't be friends with them. I mean, they shouldn't. They're not your friend if they're shitty to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where all this came from, because it started out just her being obsessed with her boyfriend. Now all of a sudden this bitch is rude and possessive and awful and all these things. Where'd all this come from? Jesus. Also, she had a rough past. Listen, I'm not saying that a 17-year-old can't have trauma when they were young, from when they were younger, but rough past? Girl, you're 17. You're still in your past. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to talk about having a rough past until you're around my age. You're still in your past. You haven't experienced enough to have a rough past yet. What are you, a grizzled war veteran at 17? What are we talking about? Like I said, I know, traumas happen. Traumas happen when you're real young. They happen when you're real young, and they can be horrible and awful and cause all kinds of things, so I'm not going to discredit that whatsoever. I'm just saying, oh my God, it can get so much worse, so just wait. You don't have a rough past yet, okay? You're in your rough past. It's going to get worse, and then better for a little bit, and then worse some more, and it's peaks and valleys. You know, it's life. Things are going to be awful, and then okay for a little bit, and then awful some more. It's kind of how life works. Anyway, let's keep going. There's a little bit left. I unloaded everything. She was crying by the time I was done, and she left. Damn. But 5 minutes later, she started the argument again in the group chat. See, I hate when they do that. I hate when people fucking do that, right? Like, you're in person, you're having the issue, you're having it out, right? They cry and run away, and then all of a sudden they got so much to say in text, right? Like what do you, like we were just face to face. Why couldn't you say all this to me then? Now all of a sudden, you were crying like a little bitch a minute ago, but now that you're behind a screen, all of a sudden we're Billy Badass. Okay. She started the argument again in the group chat, which annoyed me even more. So I said all the same things again, but this time gave examples. Oh my God, she brought exhibits A through Z, you know what I'm saying? Gave examples every single time, every single thing I brought up. Okay, this time I gave examples of every single thing I brought up. She left the group chat after that. Oh, God. She came with the receipts and homegirl couldn't handle it. Ain't that about a bitch? Now, the other girls are mad at me because some of the examples I gave involved things she had done to them, not just me. I mean, so? She's holding examples of her being shitty. It doesn't matter who she was shitty to. I don't know what to think. Am I the asshole? I don't like how we all complained behind her back, but no one had the guts to say anything to her face, but I feel bad that I made her cry. Okay. See, I feel weird judging this situation because it's a bunch of teenage girls, man. Like, I'm a grown man. I ain't gonna sit here and judge a bunch of teenagers on the internet, okay? I'm not a fucking weirdo. Like, this situation sounds like a lot of drama, a lot of issues, a lot of young girl stuff, you know, young person drama stuff. That none of it's real, none of it actually matters. But I mean, it matters to them right now, and it's a whole lot of stuff. And like I said, I was in my young 20s and all that, and I had friend drama and the whole nine and everything like that. And that was exhausting too. But like, now, as a grown man doing my thing, I'm not gonna sit here and judge a bunch of, not seriously, like I was throwing out jokes and shit, but like, I'm not gonna sit here and seriously judge a bunch of kids, right? That's weird. I'm not gonna do that. Like, so, I'm not like those adults in those other stories I read sometimes that are getting into whole ass arguments with teenagers over shit. Like, look, did she need to hear some of that? Probably. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's annoying that she's obsessed with a boyfriend and she sounds like she's got some issues that she's working through, and all of y'all have been on the receiving end of a lot of her issues, and that's not fair either. Right? I like how I always talk at the end like these people that I'm reading like listen to this podcast and know I'm talking to them. But you know, they say advice needed, so sometimes I give the advice. That's how it works. But like I said, I feel weird saying this. I mean, I could come at it from like the advice, you know, more parental like standpoint of your opinion are valid, your feelings are valid. And I'm sure she has her own opinions and stuff. And now that you've gotten it all out in the open, right? Now that everything's been said, everything's been honest and it's out there. Now you guys got to give it some time, right? Give it some time. Everybody go back to their corners, process, understand, and then when the time feels right, if you feel it, maybe reach out. Maybe all of you can reach out. If you want her around still, right? If you still want to be friends with her, reach out and try and come together and have a talk about it, right? Have a talk about everything that was said, everything that was feeling from a real constructive perspective, not from a perspective of yelling and shouting and insults and this and that and feelings, whatever. From a real, just honest, put together point of view. Now that it's out there, let's talk about how the real point of it, which is how this stuff has made you feel, right? Like, and how she has made you feel. And if she's your real friend and she really cares, then she'll be more receptive to that, right? And you should be receptive to any feelings she has to share. And the idea is you don't want it to devolve into name-calling and insults and what have you, right? So that's the idea. Now, whether or not that happens, like I said, everybody's real young. Everybody's got a lot of emotions, a lot of issues right now. So whether or not that happens, whether or not that actually is successful, I don't know. But I think that's what you need to do in this situation. Like I said, give it some time. That other thing's out there. Give it some time, then come back, reevaluate, and have a more constructive discussion about y'all's feelings on this. Assuming you're all really good friends, really close. Like, I mean, having a friend group of 5 people survive beyond like high school and stuff is like that never happens. So like you all are probably gonna drift apart eventually anyway. But if it's important to you right now, and you guys are all friends right now, and you all have your closeness and everything with each other, and you want to keep her around in your friend group, then give it some time, come back, and have a nice constructive conversation about how you're all feeling. Right? That would be what I would say. Like I said, I'm not gonna. They're a bunch of kids, so I'm not gonna come out here and throw out, well, she's a bitch for that, and you shouldn't have said that to her. That was so like I'm a grown man. That's would be weird. I'm not gonna do that. So instead, we give the advice. Outside shot, 1 in 10 million. One of them listens to this. That'd be wild, right? It ain't gonna fucking happen, But like. That's what I'm here. I read the stories, I give the advice, I make some funny comments. Sometimes I yell at people, insult people, what have you. It's what I do. I'm just not a dude on the internet talking. But, yeah. Honestly, I said the infatuation stuff, it makes sense. It's young people. It's young love, quote unquote. It's going to be like that until it immediately isn't. I mean, it's how it's... Now that she's been ousted by her friends or whatever, she's probably going to recede even more fully into him. And he'll either be receptive to that, and it'll grow their relationship, quote-unquote, stronger. Which, I say, quote, stronger, because it's not real strength. It's like a trauma bond codependent strength. It's not real strength. Not real relationship strength. It's a codependency to where like they can't exist without each other type deal. And eventually one or both of them's gonna grow out of that, and that's when we or like he's gonna, I don't know if they're sexually active or whatever, probably, but like he's gonna, if he hasn't already, get what he wants out of it and move on. Or she's gonna realize that she's bored with him. I mean, or they're both just gonna, one or both of them is going to be like, eventually realize that this isn't healthy. The codependency isn't healthy. You know what I'm saying? So being obsessed with your partner in the sense of like, you like being around them, you want to hang out with them, you want to see them, spend time with them, that's all good. Literally not being able to go a second of the day without talking to them or being in their presence or anything like that, like all stuff that Logan was talking about, that's not healthy. But that is it's what happens with young love, with young people, because they've never had, like I said, the emotional maturity of a real relationship like that. So as soon as they find somebody that they love and feels loves them, they immediately glom onto it and they never want to let it go, and to the point where they strangle it, and then it's gone. Right? That's what happens. It's what happens. And it's understandable. You don't know until you know, right? You don't know about these things until you've experienced them a lot of the times. People can warn you, people can say things, but a lot of times for stuff like this, you don't know until it happens to you. So it's going to be a canon event for her, as we say. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll be together forever. High school sweethearts, get together and stay together and grow old and stay together all the time, right? And they're always in happy, constructive relationships that don't make any of us cringe, right? Right. Okay. Well, that's that one. I think it's about time for me to get into the endy bits here. Endy bits. All right, everybody. That's the end of another one. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to me try really hard not to judge a bunch of teenagers as a grown man on the internet, because I said that's weird. So I'm trying not to judge, more just give advice, commentary, what have you. They put it on the internet, so it's free for people to judge, right? People of all ages and groups, whatever. But I said I feel weird as being a grown-ass man judging the behavior of a bunch of 17-year-old girls. Like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like. So I've kind of come out from more perspective of, like, the fatherly perspective, the older adult person who has had some experience with things and maybe can give some insight without trying to be condescending. I try not to be condescending, right? Because like I said, the feelings are valid, and I'm sure they feel real big in the moment, but like I said, grand scheme, none of this is that serious. It all sounds like a lot of teenage friend group drama to me. And that's not exclusive to teenagers, right? Like, it still happens. I've read plenty of stories about people well into their adulthood that still behave like kids. Sometimes people never grow out of it. So those people we judge. Anyway, thanks for listening. Let's get into the special message at the end here, folks. And the special message today is, oh God, I mean, we're talking about friendship a lot, right? I've talked about a little bit about relationships, but I've talked about relationships a lot. But like, let's focus more on the friend aspect, and that is, friend relationships are just as important, or can be just as important as romantic ones, right? Because like, too often people will get into a relationship and completely abandon their friends. And while I understand that you are with this person, you love this person, you're infatuated with this person, and you want to be around them all the time, that's great. But completely abandoning your friends and ignoring them and everything for this person, you can't do that, man. Because like I said, a lot of times friend relationships are taken for granted, and they're always just going to be there. And the fact is that if you ignore them, they are not going to always be there. They're going to go away. And then when you need them, when you really need that friend support, it's not going to be there anymore because you abandoned it, right? And so, pay attention to your friends, man. Like I said, they shouldn't need as much attention and affection and all that as a romantic relationship, because if you have a friend who's demanding that much attention from you, that's wild. That don't indulge that. Don't engage with that. A friend who's demanding as much attention as your romantic relationship does, that's not what I'm talking about. But like, check in, set up hangouts that are just for y'all, your girls' nights, your boys' nights, your shopping trips, your, going to the arcade, whatever the fuck, I don't know, whatever the fuck you people want to do, go get some food, just like little friend dates, little hangouts, things in there. Sometimes they can involve your significant other, sometimes it's just for the boys, just for the girls, you know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff is healthy, all that stuff is good, right? And it's all part of it. And so, and that way, when you nurture those relationships, that way when things are tough and things are bad, you have these people to turn to and lean on. Because, relationships come and go, and breakups happen and all that, and when those do happen, you're going to need your friends, your chosen family around you to help you through it, right? But you got to nurture those relationships in the meantime. You can't just ignore them, your entire relationship, and then expect them to still be there when you're done. When it breaks up, you can't do that. So if you want the friendships to be there when you really need them for the emotional support, you have to nurture them when everything's good too, right? Don't just be there for the bad, be there for the good too. Okay, and that's all I really got to say on it. Is friendships are very important. I said not as important in a lot of cases as romantic stuff and your family stuff and all that, but they still are important, and they still deserve your time and attention, your genuine time and attention, not this lip service, peripheral, like, well, I guess you can be there while I hang out with my boyfriend type beat. Don't do that. Genuine attention towards your friends. If you want to keep the friendships alive, you have to show that genuine attention to it. It's just how it is. Just like with all relationships. You want to keep a relationship, you got to tend to it. That's just rule of life. But that's a special message, you know. It's hard out here. Life's hard. So you're all doing your best. As long as you're trying, you're not a failure. Keep pushing, keep moving. We're all going to be good in the end. Or everything's going to explode. I don't know. The way that the world's going, probably the second one. But we do try to be optimistic. See y'all in the next one. Hear me in the next one. You don't see anything. But you know what I mean.